Good evening. You're watching Point Blank at KTN News at the palatial home of Governor Mike Sonko. Maybe this interview will change Kenya. Mike Sonko says it's time to put the facts on the table and that I'm interrupting him. And he wants to say, point blank to me, that Tony, something here is deeper and he wants to put the dipstick. Governor.
Okay, before I go back to the Amako case, which has my case inside, we are tackling about EACC case, the Integrity Center. I want to make a point of corruption. Actually, it wasn't Trade Bank, it is Trust Bank, yeah, that charged the property when it was owned by a company called Resac or Revac. And because this loan was not being serviced, and the property had to revert to Deposit Protection Fund, then at some point, EACC was investigating this case. So the file was forwarded to EACC for investigations. Remember, Deposit Protection Funds, these are people who had deposited their money in Trust Bank. So Deposit Protection Fund is there to ensure that pesa wasipoteze hii pesa. And because of that virtue, or because of that, the file went to EACC for investigations. And there are several headlines here. So the mimi na niko na shida. Probe team swoops on top EACC bosses.
No.
Over fraud. Ndakupatia hizi zote. This is gazetted 2015, Yes. And Nation and Standard. Papers also the allegations.
Public concern.
But here I've got, I've told you I've got 500 pages your file hapa. You're going to fax na evidence. And I'm going to hand over this file to the president as we want rates from EACC, from Integrity Center, the building. Now, you mentioned corruption about my part, which has also been leveled or raised in this particular allegations by EACC. And it is saying, we have mentioned now that the Arbab and Amako, finished with that. But let me go now to my allegation. At Mike Sonko, 3 million was deposited to your account on 17th December 2018. Before giving this letter to the media, to our magazeti, they were supposed to have investigated this case. Remember here, they're investigating irregular award of garbage collection tenders. And I want you to refer you to section 178 and 179 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, which says, if you're doing anything in goodwill to save taxpayers' money, anything, any tender, you shall not be subjected to criminal or civil proceedings. It is there, that is the law. I think the lawyers have heard that who are watching. Hizi tenders za garbage ambazo imeletea hii shida. And I've said cartels are fighting back. My predecessors' contract will expire in 2018. We advertised these tenders through free and fair bidding. Various companies applied. Yeah? Now, we had a decision as the government because we are losing a lot of money. I just give you a good example. For instance, in CBD, the county was spending 423 million per year to pay garbage collectors during my predecessor's time. Tukaangalia the rates, tukaona taxpayers' money inapotea. Tukasema we shall be going for the last bidders. So the person who won the CBD tender, Creative, a company associated with my predecessor, was being paid 423 million. Nobody was raising a query that time. So during my time, we stamped authority and said, let us save taxpayers' money. It is very expensive to spend 423 million per year kwa CBD. The company that won is called Aende, ambaye anacharge 249 million per year. The county may save over 120 million per year. Divided by 12 months, you get the number of months being paid. The contract was won by the lowest bidders. All the contracts. Even there's a company called Flexilis, which was there during the Kidero's time. When we renewed the contract, the rates they gave were low. Anybody who wanted to swindle the county by overcharging was disqualified automatically. And that was my directive. If I'll be wrong for saving taxpayers' money, then I am ready to face the cross. I'm ready to go back to committee. But public funds will never be misused under my watch. And I want to give you another good example because you've mentioned of Amako, and I don't want to provoke anybody here. People are confusing these scenarios. Scenario of doing business and scenario of corruption. Anybody can do business, whether it's your friend, my mother, your mother, anybody. There was a tender for supplying milk to the 243 ECD centers OECD schools in Nairobi City County for milk. Over 16 companies applied for this particular tender. And I'm not trying to provoke anyone. I respect the president. He's my boss, my brother, my mentor in politics. I'm just trying to give here an example. I want to give a further elaboration on how people are confusing corruption and doing business. On this tender, KCC applied. So many companies zile zinafanya maziwa Tony zili apply. Brookside won this tender. Brookside is a company associated with my boss. It won this tender genuinely, without any corruption. The president is very close to me, my good friend. He's been mentoring me, assisting me. Nikiwa na shida ya finance ananisaidia na pesa na mambo mingi. Brookside won this tender because all the other companies, including KCC, they did not have the capacity of supplying milk to each and every school in the slum. They wanted the schools in the slums and the entire areas within Nairobi to go for this milk to their factories. But Brookside said, no, we have the capacity, we have trucks, we have counters of supplying this milk to each and every school. We shall be bringing this milk to each and every center, ECD center or nursery school. And because of that, they won the tender. So you want to tell me the president is corrupt because his company has won the tender without his interference? So please, we should not be tarnishing other people's names because this is purely business being done. Amako was there before he became the governor. Brookside won this tender genuinely. There's no time the president calling me of any of his officers kuniambia saidia Brookside. No. We had a free and fair process. We had a competitive tendering process, and it won genuinely. That is not corruption. So people should not tarnishing my name.
It looks like a hand-to-hand combat.
There is nothing involving the president and the deputy president in the corruption war in Nairobi. The deputy president won this tender through his company Amako genuinely in 2016.
And the president
The president never. Let's not put the president's name here. Let us talk about the company that applied. President is not the director of Brookside. Brookside is just a business associated with the president. Well, and he never played a role
PointBlank doesn't agree.
In the award of this tender to Brookside. I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
Yeah? And why am I coming to that? ESCC are saying I'm corrupt. Go to see Kali. ESCC are saying I'm corrupt because my friend Arbab amelipwa pesa na Amako ambaye alikuwa anatenda naye from 2016 na Arbab nilimuzia shamba zamani.
Umemlipa na rafiki yako na alishinda.
Arbab nilimuzia shamba zamani. Let me finish.
Okay.
Arbab nilimuzia shamba zamani. Yes. Akanilipa deposit because nimekuwa governor. Nimekuwa governor, nimempata na biashara na Amako. Amelipwa na county. Amelipwa pesa ile mimi namdai. Where is corruption there? Okay, let me take it now to this matter where money was credited in my account. 3 million by a company called Todi. This is very sensitive, eh? The last one. Sitakusumbua tena uende kwa question nyingine. Because hii inaniharibia mbaya sana hii boss. I want to go to this Todi file. And it is not me who raised these allegations. The allegations were raised by ESCC in their letter dated 29th July 2019 to the Chief Executive Officer Equity. First, these guys are wrong. There is a ruling by the High Court of Kenya that you shall not go into anybody's account without my knowledge, without my consent. They appeal against that decision in the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal upheld the decision of the High Court that you shall not harass anybody. You cannot go to anybody's account without his consent or without him being served. But let me go to the particular allegations. So they are raising that on 17th, a company by the name of Todi, from the account number 001027280930, Todi Civil Engineering paid me some money. They wanted to know what is that money for. Number one, Todi does not do any business with the county. However, the director of Todi, Anthony Mawara, has another company which is called Hadi, which is doing business with the county through a competitive bidding. But let me come to this allegation which has been raised as per the letter. The statement they're mentioning, I have it here with me. It was furnished to me. And on 14th December 2018, 3 days before Todi paid me, walikuwa na fixed deposit account ya 80 million ambaye waliifunga. The proceeds were banked to their account on 14th December 2018. Then Todi transferred 20 million to a company called Hardy, their sister company. And then if you follow the paper trail of this statement, you find that on 17th December, as per the ASCC allegations, it is indeed true that Todi credited 3 million to my account. But let us ask ourselves, our Kenyans, this question: what was this money for? Was it a bribe? No, it wasn't a bribe. How? It wasn't a bribe in this sense. Todi had won a contract with the national government for 423 million. This was a project which was funded by the World Bank and the national government. And hii project ilikuwa ni ya kutoa maji Kwale, to expand Kwale water project supply operations, kutoa maji River Marere kuleta Kwale Township. Anybody in Kwale watching now, chief, DO, businessman, governor himself, I've got 205 acres around River Marere. From the clip, Mohamed Jafar is my neighbor. Jamila, so many businessmen are my neighbor there. Smith, former Matiba family. Let me finish. Ikakuwa that I own a property where this project was supposed to be done. Antonio wanted a plot ambao atakuwa anaweka excavator zao kufanya hii kazi. And even the water pipeline was passing through my property. I'm a taxpayer. The title deed is in my name. Kwale Golini plot number 383. The last people are watching, land registry is watching. You tell us whether this title is fake. Kwale Golini 383, around River Marere. Registered in the name of Mike Sonko, Buvi, Kioko, Gideon. The title deed was issued on 18th September 2014, before I became the governor. I'm a genuine taxpayer. I have to declare sales. I don't know whether people wanted me to put a fake name here while the title is in my name. This is the title. I want to give it to you. I have, in fact, my wife told me, no, tusiuze mashamba, first lady. Huyu jamaa, lease him the property. Si anatumia for 3 years, lease him. We had a lease agreement with this guy. He paid the 3 million through this agreement which was executed before his lawyer and my lawyer. And that is why the money was credited in my account. But I was shocked why EACC went to my accounts of 2016, 2017. Maora, the director of Todi, deposited money for another land which I sold to him on 7th April 2017 before he became the governor, 600,000. He deposited another 1 million before he became the governor. Another 2 million in 2016. If they're investigating corruption, why go to my statements of 2016, 2017 before I became the governor? Isn't that malice?
The matters you have said are weighty. To what extent are you going to take up these matters? That to prove or defend your innocence. What is the next for Sonko?
Next for Sonko, we want the truth to be known. There's nobody who's above the law. And I want to tell Kenyans that the war against graft should not be applied selectively. Ati sababu wewe ni kabila hii, uachiwe ugrab uibe. Kabila ingine kama Rosemary Njeri tumemnyang'anya shamba ikarudi kwa county. Muhindi tumemnyang'anya shamba imerudi kwa county. One person should not protect watu kutoka kwa community yake. Na mimi sina shida na watu wa community yake. Nimepea kazi watu 10 kwa hiyo community. My Minister Health wa hiyo community, Chief Officer Health wa hiyo community, County Public Service Board Chair wa hiyo community, my Chief Officer Water and Environment kwa hiyo community, my Head of Finance Nairobi Water kwa hiyo community nimetoa, my Chief Officer Finance nimetoa kwa hiyo community, my Sports Chief Officer nimetoa kwa hiyo community. So mimi ni mtu ambaye nafanya minority tribes kuwa majority because mimi sifanyi tribal politics. Watu wote napatia kazi. The problem of Nairobi is bigger than what you know. Recently you saw a building that collapsed, a school that collapsed in Ngado. It killed 8 innocent peoples. We should not play politics with the lives of Kenyans.
Well,
shida hapa ile iko, boss, ile shida hapa iko, the county is to blame for that Ngando school, hiyo collapse iliwa watoto. I've done my intelligence, I got reports of intelligence. There was a trench that was being done ikafanya shule izame pande moja. We have what we call ward physical planner. We have ward admins. We have sub-county admins. We have sub-county enforcement officers. We have the inspectorate kila mahali. If these guys were doing their work properly, tusingepoteza maisha wale watoto. If you do a trench, first a board has to be erected. That was not done. We are defying the zoning policy, the Physical Planning Act. We have been receiving numerous complaints from Lavington Residents Association, Kileleshwa, Muthaiga, South Sea, all over. If we don't stop authority now, we've been losing lives of Kenyans, innocent Kenyans, for the last 15 years. The same corruption cartel was there, including the members of the county assembly, some of them who were even elected during that time. They failed to stop authority. This is my time now. Sitakubali laziness. It is true I want to kubali leo. It is indeed true I suspended some officers who are sleeping on their jobs. Why? If they are doing their kazi vizuri, we would not have lost the lives of those innocent students. I mean, pupils. But because their parents are poor, they come from poor backgrounds, nobody has talked about their justice.
Look, I felt he's been treated unfairly and had the right to be heard. And you've heard him, and this is Point Blank, and you're watching KTN News. Asante sana Governor kwa kuja. Asante sana.
You have done just a quarter.
Asante sana. Asante sana. It's KTN News.